What's going on, YouTube universe? This is ArghGodzirra. I am back here with my brother Corey.
What's up, guys?
And today we are playing more WWE 2K22 MyGM mode, but some shit's gone down, and we're going to explain that right now. 2K has updated the game. They have added an extra match slot to the match card, taking it from 3 matches per week to 4, and they've added tag team championships as well. Now, when Corey and I drafted the initial GM mode that we've already started, we didn't have tag teams in mind, so we all drafted just for a men's single rivalry, female single rivalry. Even though I've had The Miz and Morrison up against Edge and Drew McIntyre, Corey had Ray and Xavier Woods up against Rude and AJ Styles in the end, I'm pretty sure it was, tag teaming. We didn't anticipate that those would be teams we'd put together for championships when there's obviously tag teams that are available to be drafted. So we've decided we are going to start our GM mode again, and we are going to put a little twist on this particular draft. Say, for example, both the Usos are available to be selected. If I want to draft them as a tag team and I choose one of them, and in that selection I state to you, I am taking the Usos as a tag team. My next pick is then the opposite Uso, and you can't touch that Uso, like you can't snipe that pick. Same with the New Day. If Corey wanted the New Day, and he drafted Kofi Kingston, and he said, I'm drafting the New Day as a tag team, he would have the option of drafting either Xavier Woods or Big E. The one that is then remaining, Corey can choose whether to draft that superstar or let them go. There's another team, for example, with Slapjack, T-Bar and Mace. If we want just 2 of the 3, we can let the other one slide. We just stipulate that we're taking it as a tag team, not a trio. So we're hoping this draft is as stacked as the original one. We had Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, Roman Reigns. We had Edge, Seth Rollins, but we still didn't have superstars like AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. So we're hoping we get a good mix, especially up the top end when looking at somebody who could be champion. But it might be interesting if Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns aren't in the mix, because then it means we've got to throw somebody else in there that we wouldn't normally pick straight away. So let's have a look how deep we're running. John Cena and Drew McIntyre are the 2 top male superstars.
Not really.
Oh, well, according to this, they are, right? For the women, again, no fucking Alexa Bliss. That guts me. But we still have Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Asuka, Shayna Baszler. We got Rhea Ripley. So we still have some. Your girl Naomi is in the mix still. See, Reckoning, if we wanted to go that route, I could take Mia Yim and Reckoning in the same superstar, but that's when she was with T-Bar and that, right? What I find hilarious is how is Mia Yim stamina 59, but then as Reckoning at 79?
It's whatever she has on her face.
Well, clearly. And your girl Mandy Rose is in there too, if you want to go Mandy Rose. So let's have a look here. Let's go through.
Well, first of all,
John Cena, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Johnny Gargano is one that I'm actually keen to see here. We've got Nakamura. We have Elias, who now goes by Ezekiel in real WWE, but he's not Elias, he's Elias's brother, he's trying to tell everyone, right? Bobby Lashley, we got Riddle, we got Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston as a tag team. We have Randy Orton and Riddle.
Isn't there Big E there as well? Big E was
we do have Big E too, so we've got the whole New Day. Going down the bottom here, do we have anybody that can team up on the lower end of the spectrum? Yeah, we do have Mace and Slapjack. That's it, really. Ooh, Jeff Hardy in the draft. Murphy, okay. Keith Lee, John Morrison, with no Miz. Alright, this is going to be an interesting draft because...
What happens if we don't have enough tag teams? Do we just make our own?
We can create our own, if we want to. I've just identified a potential tag team. Now, Walter is part of Imperium, I think they're called, which is what these dudes... Do we have any? Yeah, with the black jackets are. So If you wanted to, you could have Walter and Danny Birch.
Okay.
Just to update you on that. But we can create tag teams, so we can go something like
MVP and
Angel
R-Truth.
Garza, Mustafa Ali. We could go MVP and R-Truth. You know, that's where the fun of it comes in as well, with lack of tag teams. So I'm debating here on whether I go big for SmackDown with a tag team first, just to lock it up as a tag team that's going to carry my titles. And I am.
Who are you taking?
Taking Randy Orton, and Riddle will be my second pick, which is going to be interesting because Randy Orton and Riddle here are actually, like, see what I'm doing? Randy Orton's going to have to do a little bit of a heel, like a face turn. But, yeah, I'm going Randy Orton and Riddle as a tag team. Thank you very much. Which is upsetting because I bet you wanted to go Randy Orton for your first pick.
I did.
And it's good too, because with the tag team division, it doesn't stop a superstar being in singles action outside of the tag team. So for me, if Randy Orton and Riddle weren't in the tag team situation, Randy could be pushing for the WWE Universal title.
Now see, if Alexa Bliss was in the women's, she would have been my first pick to piss you
Yeah,
off.
just to piss me off, but it's not going to happen.
We'll see how I go. First pick, Braun Strowman.
That is a strong pick straight out the gate, especially if you're looking for a champion. As I said though, I'm drafting RK Bro as my first two, so that's my first tag team locked up, as well as a potential WWE champion down the line. Well, both of them have potential down the line of being champion.
Going back to the old school days, champion that he was Intercontinental champion for a bit, but Jeff Hardy.
Oh, he was going to be my next pick, you fucking sniping bastard. Anyway, I might lock him up early, so I've got another big name up the top. I'm going with Drew McIntyre. As much as I want to get tag teams out of the way, I need to make sure I'm also getting top talent done and dusted.
Locking in the first diva, Becky Lynch.
Oh, that means I've got to take somebody that I'm not that much of a fan of, but you've got to go by her popularity as well, and she works with everyone else. I'm taking Charlotte Flair.
Now, I don't really know WWE because it's like I'm back of the old era sort of thing, so I am using recommendations. So allow me, if I get a bit lost, I always use the recommendations.
Well, if you use your recommendations, right, it's telling you to choose out of 3 female superstars, but there is a male superstar there that you could potentially lock up a tag team with.
A lot of consultation
if you wanted to go down that route.
Before Raw's next pick.
I'm going to take Kofi Kingston in a tag team with Big E.
Will you be taking Xavier Woods?
No.
Okay. Now, I'm going to take another tag team. Now, they're cheap, so I'm going to get them done early. I'm going to take Mustache Mountain.
Okay.
I'm taking Tyler Bate and Trent Seven.
Okay.
Right? 107,000, 114,000. They're capable of being tag team champions. I'm happy to lock them up early.
This guy will have a good match
with anyone. And my next pick, as I said, Trent Seven.
A lot of opportunities here for Raw's next selection.
A lot of good picks. A lot of good picks. But see, the thing, I don't really know who. I might make my own tag team, to be honest.
Yep.
I'm thinking. Let me just check to make sure that the right sort of. So I don't want to have to do.
Now, don't get me wrong. They don't have to fit the same class because, as you just saw, and as you can see on the screen, tag teams don't always have the same class. One of them could be like a fighter, one could be a bruiser, one could be a specialist, one could be a giant. So you don't have to worry too much.
Okay. Well,
all right.
We're going back retro days.
Raw's GM has a bit of time
You like
on
going old
clock,
school.
and they
The
plan
new
on
tag
using
team of
every
Raw is going to
second.
be Shelton Benjamin and MVP.
Shelton Benjamin.
That's actually a good shout, because when Shelton came back for a while, he was rolling with Bobby Lashley and MVP. So that's a good pick. It might be time to choose another specialist here to throw around in the mix up the top end. And I'm going to go with Johnny Wrestling. Mr. Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano. Gargano going to show SmackDown the way.
This guy can and will take on anyone in this brand.
Alright, now having a look at my list, I've now got to get another female into the mix here. So,
You've only got one.
somebody who can fight with Charlotte early. I'm going to take my girl Rhea Ripley. If she's there to be taken and Alexa isn't there, Rhea Ripley's always going to be my second pick, but obviously Charlotte being one of the few specialists in the game, you've got to jump on board.
Now, Becky. Becky's a specialist, isn't she?
She is, so she can feud with anybody. Naomi. Now, I'm going to take a cheaper pick here,
Going to be a big player here
and she's going to be a heel, and she's going to be joining her husband on SmackDown, and that's Candice LeRae, who is the wife of Johnny Gargano.
Candice LeRae shaking
Bringing the family over to
This is
SmackDown.
not a woman interested in making friends.
Bringing the family over to SmackDown. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be smart. Alright? Having a look at what sort of different classes we have. Going with specialists. Going to have a look down specialists.
That's actually a good way to look at things.
Raw having a bit of trouble figuring out who to pick.
Now,
there
I've
are
got
so many options.
Becky Lynch as a face, Naomi as a face, so I need a heel to turn things up. On the cheap end, you could say retro, right? Natalia.
People need to understand at home, Corey is familiar with WWE now, but he grew up through the Ruthless Aggression era, so like the late 2000s, early 2010s. I'm more Attitude Era and current, so the superstars Corey has been picking is more reflective on older stuff, which is decent, because you've actually picked so far a pretty solid list. I'm now debating here whether we go one more female at the top end. She needs to be one that can feud with Rhea Ripley if needed, which Candice LeRae can do. Charlotte mixes in with anybody, so I think what might be worth a shout here is going a specialist, just to ensure we can mix things up. But that being said, that puts me in a position where Rhea Ripley's the only face, so I've got to have a look here. We could go Toni Storm if we wanted to. Bayley is still one I would love to bring over. Shayna Baszler's another one that'd be good. She could feud with Charlotte. I'm gonna take Bayley. Another specialist, mix things up. I can always go on the cheaper end and bring in another face if I want to.
Okay, so if I look at it, I've got one tag team, two tag teams. It's not really enough. And I've got two people that could go after the title. So I need someone else to jump up in between.
The entire
I've already got
WWE universe on
a
pins
heel
and needles.
and a
Raw
face.
taking their time with this
So it
next
just
pick.
depends with me, like what I want to do and who I want as a champion. I think. I'm gonna go with Dolph Ziggler.
I was going to say he'd probably be your best pick, because at the moment with your selections you've got a giant and a cruiserweight, so getting a specialist in at this point I think is good. I think my women's division at the moment is looking pretty strong. Charlotte and Rhea will probably be my first feud. At the moment I've got Riddle and Randy Orton up against Mustache Mountain. So one more tag team down the cheaper end would be pretty nice. Would be very good, very nice. Oh, you could have gone Bobby Lashley and MVP.
I could have. But I didn't.
No, you didn't. I'm trying to think here.
Just remember
who could put on some good matches.
Just remember, the people that aren't in this draft can always come back in the free agents. So
that is correct.
you can always hold on to your money if you always want to.
Oh, I'm not banking it. I'm not going to bank,
Yeah, obviously.
700,000. I'm tempted to go Slapjack and that to finish off my tag team division. But at the top, I've got Drew McIntyre, I've got Johnny Gargano. They're the only two that are really going to be pushing for a championship slot. So I want to bring someone in who can challenge up the top end. So I am going to bring in King Nakamura.
Good pick.
Strong styles indeed arrived on this brand. Glad to see the
John Cena only goes with
the
MVP,
cobwebs from
so
their
it's
wallet.
not really great. Is Walter in a tag team with anyone that you know of?
As I said, Walter would probably go with the dude down the bottom. Birch, I think his surname was. If you go up.
Don't go there.
Yep, Danny Birch. So Danny Birch and Walter would be a part of the tag team division if you wanted to go down that route.
Got 1, 2.
So you've currently got the New Day versus MVP and Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, I'll take Danny Burch and then I'll take the other guy.
You're going to take Walter.
Yeah.
Now I've got 4 superstars I would like to draft.
motivated superstar.
I'm not going to be able to afford all of them, which is a shame. I'm going to take the tag team first and then toss up between the final 2 to work out who my last pick is going to be.
Can I guess those final 2?
Who the final 2 are going to be? Well, the tag team I'm picking right now is going to be Mace and Slapjack.
Well, after your tag team, guarantee it's John Cena.
John Cena is not in the mix at all.
Bobby Lashley.
Was not in the mix either.
There you go.
Was not in the mix either. Alright, my next pick, as I said, is going to be Slapjack to give me 3 tag teams total. So I'm happy with that. We want to make sure we're drafting enough superstars to keep things fresh. We don't want the same 2 teams always having a rivalry. We can always bring in free agents and all that kind of stuff, which we will do.
Gonna lock this in. This could be my last pick, by the way.
Could alter the landscape of WWE.
Now, I would like to point out something to you. I've locked up a husband and wife partnership. You've just picked up a boyfriend and girlfriend partnership in real life. Because Raquel Gonzalez is with Braun Strowman in real life. So the 2 giants are getting it down. Now, I do have 229,000. I do have enough to get only one of the 2, as I said.
But it's Elias.
Well, it's not Elias. I can get anyone under Elias. Now, as you mentioned here, though, Bobby Lashley would be a good shout because he blends well with Nakamura and with Randy Orton and with Trent Seven. But the 2 I were looking at were John Morrison. He's only got the one with Drew McIntyre, though. The other one, and the one I'm leaning towards the most, because he would blend with anybody, is Murphy. The Australian himself. That would leave me with fuck all money, like 30,000. I wouldn't be able to do any big time matchups early. Who else down the other end? Do we have any other specialists down the bottom that are cheap? Pete Dunne. Austin Theory would be a good shout too. Who do I have? I've got 3 tag teams. I've got 4 women. Up the top end of the table, I've got 3 men to feud. And see, the hard thing here is if we've got 4 slots now to fill, we're going to need a secondary. You're going to have a tag team rivalry, female rivalry, your main men's rivalry, and then you're going to need another either female or male rivalry in the middle to carry the card. Yeah, that's where I'm thinking Murphy. Murphy's going to be my final pick. 30k left in the bank. It's left me very thin, but I am very happy with this draft. We've got RK Bro. We've got Drew McIntyre. We've got Charlotte and Rhea. We've got Johnny Wrestling. And we've got Mustache Mountain. I'm very happy with that draft. You've got 164,000 left.
So if we look at the top, I'll say it's here. Braun Strowman. We've got Jeff Hardy.
You've technically, if you
Dolph
want
Ziggler.
to, you've got Dolph, but then you've also got the fact that you've got 3 tag teams there. So if Walter isn't going to be in your initial thing, you've got Walter who could be a good champion. If the New Day aren't involved, you've got Big E or Kofi who are both capable of being champions. So you've actually got a lot of coverage. What you'd probably look for here is one final male singles competitor who can help carry a feud in between.
Raw having a bit of trouble figuring out who to pick.
Keeping in mind that you've only got 164,000 left, so you'd have to go from Dexter Lumis down.
It's not really a lot, is it?
Yeah, we're scraping the bottom. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Gonna be smart here.
Gonna bank your money.
Gonna save it for the first week and see if I can sign agents.
Oh, you cheeky prick. But Stephanie has Braun, Jeff Hardy, The New Day, Shelton Benjamin and MVP, Naomi and Becky Lynch. Comparing the two brands, I might have one extra superstar, but you've got a lot of star power up the top end. I think we've managed to pick very good lists, despite the fact that we had no Brock Lesnar, and we had no Roman Reigns, no Seth Rollins, no Edge, no Kevin Owens, no AJ Styles, no Miz. Johnny Morrison went undrafted, so there are going to be plenty of superstars to pick out of that first draft pool.
Don't forget John Cena.
Yes. So what we'll do here is we'll skip through this. If this doesn't cut...
every time.
Okay, here we go. Champion time.
No, hang on.
Okay. Champion time for SmackDown. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre as my Universal Champion.
Yep.
For the females, Charlotte Flair. Easy to put either Flair or Bayley as champion, but I feel out of all of them, you'd think Charlotte would be the starting champion. It makes sense. Yeah. Just like Becky would be probably starting champion if she was on my show, is what I'm saying. Not your show. But if I had Becky Lynch, she was probably going to be my champion. So those are the two for me. As we can see here, we now have 2 mid-card matches as opposed to 1.
Yep. An
extra promo slot. So it's essentially become the pay-per-view screen. So what I'm going to do here...
Now, also, you've got 31,000.
Yeah, so...
Now, your opener show is going to be limited to, I think, maybe normal shows, if not...
Normal shows, I can't unlock anything anyway. So it's costing me $0 to run the show.
If anything, your main event will cost you all of that budget. If you dare do an Extreme Rules match.
And I have to book my least popular available superstar for a match this week. So who is my least popular? It is Tyler Bate. That was probably going to be the tag team I was going to run anyway. I was going to do Mustache Mountain versus Randy Orton and Riddle in a tag match. That was probably the shout I was going to go down. Having a look at free agents. Finn Balor is there at the top end. And that's it. I mean, we've got these guys down here like permanent 30k. They have terrible popularity, but you throw the Red Flame. It looks like me with a fucking mask on. But you book these guys and you throw them in the mid-card just as fillers, like as jobbers.
Now,
and then on the Legends end of things,
wow,
we got some big names early. Yeah. Goldberg, Undertaker, Macho Man, Ric Flair, Bret Hart, King Booker, Mickey James, Yeah, JBL.
Could even chuck Mr. McMahon in there, toss him around.
100k for 10 weeks, so he can get...
He can main event WrestleMania for me.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to book my match card off camera, because we don't want to reveal anything, because the next episode will be week 1. I'm going to book my show. We'll be back momentarily for Corey to choose his male and female champions. And what I'm thinking we'll do for the tag team championships is we will have it set up so we have the tag teams versus each other throughout the first 4 weeks. Come the pay-per-view, the best 2 out of our 3 tag teams face off against each other for the championship at the pay-per-view. I don't know whether the pay-per-view is going to be the same match card or whether we'd have to book 5 matches. That'd make things very interesting, but regardless, I'm going to book my show. We'll see you guys momentarily for Corey to choose Raw's champions. Okay, SmackDown's card has been booked. I actually ended up spending half of what I had left, so I had 31,000 in the kitty. It cost me 17,000 to run the show, so I'm already pushing bankruptcy, and we haven't even had the first round of fights go down yet. But I'm keen to see who you pick here, because there are a number of superstars you could go with.
There is a number of superstars, but I'm gonna go with Braun Strowman.
Big man.
Very solid. And for my women's, I'm gonna go with Naomi. Okay.
Now this is actually a good selection, and I'll tell you why. Cruisers mix well with Giants, so you've got the possibility of going with Raquel Gonzalez, but your other 2 females are specialists and could go down the path of being able to take her on as well. The only thing you've got to bear in mind, if it's going to be Becky Lynch or Naomi are going to have to do a role change, because 2 faces against each other is going to confuse the fuck out of the fans, and it's not going to make for good overall rivalry. So Natalya and Raquel, if you go with Naomi, are your best 2 selections to go with first, which would be good if you want to go down that route, because that means we don't see the same superstars getting pushed all the time like Becky Lynch. Completely up to you. Just wanted to point that out. Good to see Naomi with a bit of gold around the belt. Okay, so what is your commissioner goal? I'm just curious. Schedule a run-in on your most popular available star this week.
Oh, well, doesn't that just start a rivalry for me, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
Now, before we wrap up the episode, because we're not going to see you do your match card, that's going to be off camera. You said you wanted to have a look at the free agents, to book a free agent to add to your roster with your leftover money. So let's see who you are going to bring on board. The red flag. Looks like me with a cape and a fucking mask on. I will say, Mansoor for 108,000 permanent is pretty solid. But that throws another cruiser in your mix, and I don't think you'd really want another cruiserweight.
I can be real smart here. I'm actually going to take the Red Flame. I actually am. And you'll see why in the next episode, so stay tuned.
He's taken the Red Flame, 5 weeks, 6,000. I think Corey's taken the piss a little bit, but that's going to wrap this episode up. Corey's going to get his match card done off camera, and when we return next week, episode 2 will be week 1, SmackDown versus Raw going head to head. Raw in a very good state, especially financially. SmackDown hemorrhaging cash. Only about 15,000 left in the bank. I don't know how I'm going to fucking keep going at this rate. But we're happy with this draft. We've got a better understanding of how GM mode works now, so I think we can do better quality videos for you guys overall. Sincerely hope you guys have been enjoying this. If you have been, hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. But that's it from us, guys. We're out of here. And as always, we will catch you guys next time.